ERIN Elmore, former Trump campaign surrogate and former apprentice contestant, and Blake Rutherford, a Democratic strategist. Good to see you both. ERIN, there are really two questions on the whole Russian issue. First of all, did President Obama's team spy on Trump's team? That's number one. Number two is, did the Trump team conspire with Putin in Russia? Now, on which of these questions have we gathered more evidence?
Well, the former, not the latter. I always love a two-pronged question. But what Ms. Rice did here is so much worse than anything that General Flynn did. She's going to be in hot water. This is the situation that she's going to have to obtain lawyers. She wanted to unmask people that were working on the Trump transition team and seeing who they were having conversations with outside of the United States. This is not for national security purposes. This is a politically motivated endeavor. And to say this is not Barack Obama related, she's worked for Barack Obama.
Well, she didn't respond.
Maybe Trump's allegations aren't that.
Yeah, she didn't respond today.
We should.
But again, ERIN, back to you. The question is whether there is fire. And so far, the only fire that we've seen, and I think if the story again today is true, that Susan Rice was responsible for unmasking some of these names, that means that what she said back on March 22nd is not true when she said, I had no idea about this unmasking.
So we caught her in a lie. It certainly seems that way. Don't forget that Susan Rice is the person behind that whole Benghazi scheme, that it was just an unruly crowd that was responding to a video. She doesn't really have the best reputation for truth and honesty here. So we're not exactly dealing with someone that's been honest. And to say that Barack Obama himself did not wiretap President Trump, these are his officials. It's part and parcel for the organization.
The information was between foreigners. It wasn't between a foreigner and a U.S. official. It was gossip that was captured by intel officials between two foreigners about somebody in the Trump administration.
Precisely. This isn't necessarily anything to do with Russia, quite frankly. And also, you said that lying in and of itself by Dr. Rice is not a crime. If she were under oath, let's say, we would call that perjury. Yeah. So saying that she's we have to be careful here because, of course, they're not being careful. They're being quite careless. And for her to lie just a few weeks ago, really doesn't bode very well for them personally.
Okay, we got to go, but
The election was turned by kind of white, college-educated women who now would maybe like to forget about this election and go back to watching HGTV. And I would want to urge them to, you can't look away, because it doesn't affect you this minute, but it's going to affect you eventually.
ERIN Elmore and Blake Rutherford are back with us. ERIN, let me start with you. So that's sort of that typical thing that, kind of won Trump the election, when elites sit there and they talk down to people that supported Trump. She's saying that, number one, college-educated women who voted for him would now very much regret it. This is her one assumption. Her second assumption is that, they're kind of vacuous and only have a passing interest in politics, that now they want to just switch back to HGTV. When you're dismissing people as idiots, how do you expect to kind of win them over?
I mean, she's talking to me explicitly. I have no regrets about my decision. She told us to be reflective. Well, being reflective is how I became a Republican, how I came to vote for Donald Trump. Quite honestly, I'm not really sure what she knows about the average college-educated American white woman, if that's what she's talking about, living in her $9.5 million penthouse. Tina Fey, I would say to you, yeah, your Sarah Palin impression on Saturday Night Live was good, but your impression of an average American woman, it's falling flat on its face. This is just offensive and rude. And we're not tuned out watching HGTV. We're still getting involved. We actually have to go to work every day because that's what Republican values are.
So this is kind of the point maybe with Tina Fey as well. When you say that everything he does is evil, only the hardcore people who are just anti are still listening. Anyone in the middle is like, I don't know. I mean, you're just protesting against something rather than offering an alternative, offering something up. You're just like, he's the worst. Don't you agree? And people are like, I don't know.
Right. I mean, Melissa, these people, their bench is lean. The Democrats have no one even to run against Donald Trump in 4 years. So they should stop complaining about everything that he does and try to make their party better. Work towards a common goal. Right now, all they're doing is lashing out,
I'm sorry, I
throwing
lost
out
both
insults.
of you guys. Sorry about that. But we got to go. Thanks to both of you.